perfect time for the WNBA to also be posting about this. And they said nothing. And it just goes to show that all of us who have been speaking out about this and saying, like, it doesn't seem like you guys are giving Caitlin, you know, the kind of props that she deserves for bringing all these eyeballs and, you know, the Caitlin Clark effect that we talk about, viewership, money, all of those things. All of the people who were shouting this for the entire WNBA season, this is an instance where we are proved correct.
WNBA.
You have to understand, sponsors aren't just pulling back their support for the WNBA in some vague general way. No, what's happening is far more specific and, for the league, far more terrifying. They are quietly and strategically redirecting their money, taking it out of the league-wide pot and funneling it straight to one person, Caitlin Clark. And according to insiders, this has NBA Commissioner Adam Silver seriously alarmed. This isn't just another dramatic headline cooked up for clicks or a flashy highlight clip you see on social media. This is a very real, very serious sponsorship crisis that's unfolding behind closed doors, where powerful brands are making a calculated business decision to choose Caitlin Clark over the entire league she plays for.
She also teased Nike seems to be on board. Again, Nike, Christmas time is here. People are buying Christmas gifts right now, Hanukkah presents right now, holiday stuff right now. Caitlin Clark reveals that she's got a PE, a golf shoe PE, on the way. That's big.
In this video, we're going to break down exactly why major WNBA sponsors are quietly creating distance between themselves and the league, what they are now building that is specifically centered around Caitlin Clark, and how this fundamental shift could become the critical tipping point that genuinely threatens the current WNBA leadership. Think about it. Because when global brands start treating a single player as a better, safer, and more profitable investment than the league itself, this ceases to be just a simple publicity problem. It becomes a direct challenge to the league's entire power structure and its very business model. And let me be clear, if this trend continues on its current trajectory, it could very well mark the beginning of the end for the WNBA as we have known it for years. From the very moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto a professional court, the numbers just exploded. It was instantaneous. Ratings that had been stagnant for years suddenly surged to record highs. Arenas that had been half empty and quiet for season after season were suddenly sold out, night after night. National sports shows that would rarely, if ever, mention the WNBA were suddenly leading their broadcasts with highlights from the Indiana Fever. Little clips of Caitlin pulling up and hitting those signature logo range threes were pulling in more views in a single evening than some entire franchises were generating all season long. And you better bevel the sponsors noted. They saw every single metric, every data point, social engagement, Google search traffic, merchandise sales, the insane ticket resale spikes that happened whenever Clark was scheduled to be in town. And it all pointed to one undeniable conclusion. One name, Caitlin Clark. Now publicly, everything seemed perfectly normal. The big brands continued signing their league-wide sponsorship deals. You still saw their logos on the courts during the broadcasts and on the jerseys. The official message was loud and clear. We support the WNBA. But behind the scenes in the boardrooms and on conference calls, the conversations were shifting dramatically. Executives were now calling the league office with one very specific demand after another. Can we get more Caitlin Clark games on national broadcast? Can we get a guarantee that she will appear in our primetime advertising windows? Can we build entire marketing campaigns that are centered exclusively on Clark
and her story?
See her at this event, you see the kind of noise that this is making, you see that this is trending on social media, you see that SportsCenter, Bleacher Report, all of these places, every media outlet is covering this, and you don't say anything. That's what we were talking about this whole season. We were correct. The fans that were saying that the WNBA seems to be trying to quiet the noise of Caitlin Clark, not letting her shine to her full ability, and not, in turn, not helping your own players in the league, we were right. And this event proved it, because the LPGA did literally everything.
But instead of protecting its golden goose, the one player generating unprecedented revenue and attention, the WNBA essentially telesed her straight into the meat grinder. It became a weekly spectacle of hard fouls, cheap shots, and these endless, exhausting debates on sports talk shows about whether or not she was overhyped. The league, bafflingly, seemed to spend far more time and energy defending the aggressive physical play against her than it did protecting the one player who was, for all intents and purposes, paying everybody's bills. And the fans absolutely noticed. But you know who noticed even more? The sponsors. Every single time Caitlin Clark got slammed to the floor during a nationally televised game, Social media didn't light up celebrating the league's toughness. No, it lit up exposing the league's deep-seated insecurity. So the sponsors did what any smart business would do. They adjusted their strategy. If the WNBA wasn't going to treat Caitlyn like its undisputed centerpiece, then they gladly would. And just like that, the endorsement deals began to shift. Suddenly, Caitlyn's face took center stage in massive campaigns, while the WNBA logo seemed to shrink into the background. Commercials would air that barely even mentioned the Indiana Fever at all. Cross-sport promotional events began featuring Caitlyn as the headline act, with the league she represented reduced to little more than a footnote. Quietly but unmistakably, the money began to follow her and not the WNBA.
They capitalized on the moment. They found a way to put it on television. They allowed people to be there. Caitlyn was signing autographs. They put their best golfer in the tour, league, whatever it's called. They put her with Caitlyn because they knew that she would get more eyeballs doing it. They propped up all of their golfers in one event. And you would be crazy to think that they're not going to have another event and invite Caitlyn to it. They're going to invite Caitlyn to as many events as they possibly can.
Now I want you to imagine the scene inside Adam Silver's world. In the NBA, in WNBA headquarters, as this sponsor exodus begins to pick up speed and accelerate, you're sitting there in a high-stakes conference room when the newest report lands on the table. One of your major sponsors announces they are restructuring their WNBA deal. Not leaving entirely, of course, but now demanding exclusive rights to all Caitlyn Clark content, her appearances and her branding. Then another partner quietly reveals that they're shifting their marketing dollars away from league-wide promotions and pouring them into a new Caitlyn-centric campaign specifically built for social media, live streams, and in-person fan events. On paper, sure, the league is still getting paid. The invoice still gets processed. The check still clears. But everyone in that room knows exactly what's really happening. The value is no longer attached to the WNBA Shield logo. It's tied directly, and almost exclusively, to Caitlyn Clark. And once sponsors realize that their return on investment is exponentially higher when they follow the star instead of the shield, the entire power dynamic flips, almost overnight. The league stops being the product. Caitlyn becomes the product. That's precisely why insiders are calling this the tipping point. When one sponsor pivots toward Caitlyn, it's a warning shot. But when 3 or 4 or 5 of them do it, it becomes a powerful vote of no confidence in the league's current leadership. And that's when team owners start asking some very uncomfortable questions. Why is our biggest draw, the one putting all these new eyes on our sport, taking the hardest hits on the court? Why do all the viral moments that benefit us seem to happen in spite of our league strategy, and not because of it? Why are sponsors calling us to ask about creating Caitlyn Clark tours, but not about buying WNBA playoff packages? And the fans, they feel this shift too. If they even get a hint that the league resents the very player who made them care in the first place, they won't stay loyal to the WNBA. They'll stay loyal to her. And here's the absolute nightmare scenario that's already playing out at full speed. Multiple core WNBA sponsors stop investing in the league model altogether and begin investing directly in Caitlyn Clark instead. Viewership for games without her on the court falls off a cliff. Those ambitious expansion timelines quietly get pushed back. Marketing budgets for other teams start to shrink, and all the other players, who spent years fighting for more investment and a bigger piece of the pie, suddenly start to hear the same old line from executives. The money just isn't there anymore.
I've seen a commercial as well received as this Caitlyn Clark State Farm ad in a long time. You know, I actually played it on here before talking about the golf thing, but when you are looking at this commercial and why it was so well received, I think it was the delivery from Caitlyn Clark, but then I also think there was a line in there that really hit people.
Caitlyn Clark's brand new commercial just dropped, and it's no exaggeration to say that fans are completely losing it online. This is the exact kind of advertisement that completely hijacks the social media landscape for days, forces the WNBA into the mainstream cultural conversation, and serves as a powerful reminder to everyone watching why the world's biggest brands just keep lining up for a piece of her brand. In one short, powerful Nike commercial, she doesn't come across as a rookie point guard for the Indiana Fever. No, she looks like the undisputed face of the entire women's basketball movement, a leader and an icon.
Caitlin Clark news, Nike just released a brand new commercial featuring Caitlin Clark and her new Kobe shoe that she released today. And I saw this commercial yesterday on social media. I thought it was so cool. There's a shot when she's in the locker room and she opens her eye and it like turns into what looks like a snake eye, but when you zoom in, it's actually the Kobe logo in her eye. And as you know, Kobe's nickname was the Black Mamba. I just felt like across the board, this commercial was a 10 for 10. And a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Caitlin as much as they should. But I will say we have to give credit where credit is due. I feel like in the past month or so, they have been tweeting about Caitlin more. And then obviously with this shoe release, they made this super sick commercial to...
Right this very second, if you open up YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, your feed is probably with clips of the new Caitlin Clark ad, countless fan reactions, and super detailed, frame-by-frame breakdowns of every single moment. And what's really telling is that people aren't just calling it a good ad. They're calling it her best commercial yet. The one that's powerful enough and has enough cultural gravity to completely take over the internet.
Sold out in less than a minute. If that's any indication of what a Caitlin Clark signature shoe will do, I think Nike better continue to get on it and get ready to launch this brand for Caitlin.
So in this video, we're going to do a deep dive, breaking down exactly why this new Nike Super Bowl style commercial has fans losing their minds, how it cleverly connects back to her earlier groundbreaking State Farm spot, and what it all means for the future of Caitlin Clark's already immense WNBA marketing power. Because before this latest Nike commercial absolutely exploded online, this story really began with those now famous Caitlin Clark State Farm clips that went viral while she was still playing at Iowa. Think about how historic this was. She became the first NCAA athlete ever to star in a national State Farm campaign alongside the famous Jake from State Farm. And even back then, she looked like a complete natural. She was calm, confident, and totally camera-ready, almost as if she'd been filming major commercials her entire life. With that one deal, Caitlin's brand just got a whole lot bigger.
Yeah, you know, you've made it big when you're hanging out with Jake from State Farm. The insurance company announced the deal Tuesday morning.
That State Farm spot wasn't just a cute side project. It generated massive engagement, significantly outperformed the average campaign metrics, and quietly signaled a crucial message to every major brand that was watching. Caitlin Clark is so much more than just a phenomenal basketball player. She's a natural-born star in front of the camera. So naturally, the bigger brands took notice immediately. Giants like Nike, Gatorade, and Wilson Basketball all basically raced to align themselves with the Caitlin Clark brand. But there was a challenge brewing in the background. As Caitlin's star rose to astronomical heights, criticism began to target Nike's women's basketball division. Critics argued that the brand had stayed conspicuously silent on key issues in women's sports, claiming they simply weren't doing enough to support the very girls and women who love the game. This growing tension created the perfect conditions and set the stage for a much bigger story to unfold.
Dear Nike.
Dear Nike, why won't you stand up for me?
Why won't you stand up for me? Why won't you?
Why do you claim to support women and girls?
Yet when we need you most,
You remain silent.
Today, males are claiming our identity.
Our sports,
Our spaces.
men and boys are stealing opportunities,
medals,
Trophies.
and our future.
And it's not fair or just.
in fact, it's often dangerous. Yet you refuse to use your platform to stand up.
You say you're for social justice and progress.
So why do you allow men's rights to come before ours? See, with a big platform,
Comes an even bigger responsibility.
you have a chance to do the right thing.
Not just do the easy thing.
So we're asking you, Nike.
So we're asking you, Nike,
So we're asking you, Nike.
as the biggest voice in all of sports,
Will you stand up for me? Will you stand up for me?
Will you stand up for me?
will you stand up for me?
The pressure was absolutely mounting, and everyone in the sports and marketing world was waiting on the edge of their seats to see what Nike's next move would be. And their answer? It was this new Caitlin Clark Nike commercial that has fans going absolutely wild. In the spot, Caitlin shares the screen with an all-star lineup of female athletes, including A'ja Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Sha'Carri Richardson, and other top stars. The ad delivers a simple but incredibly powerful message. You'll be told you can't do it, so do it anyway. You'll be told you can't win, so win. It's bold, it's inspiring, and it feels perfectly timed to coincide with Caitlin's meteoric rise to global superstardom.
You can't take credit. You can't speak up. You can't be so ambitious. You can't break records. You can't have any fun. You can't make demands. You can't keep score. You can't stand out. Whatever you do, you can't win. so win.
The powerful combination of the soundtrack, the compelling narration, and the slick, fast-paced editing creates a high-energy, Super Bowl-level commercial vibe. Even when you're just watching it on your phone, it feels like a monumental tribute to women's basketball, track and field, and really to every girl who's ever been underestimated or told she couldn't achieve something. The impact of this Nike ad featuring Caitlin Clark is truly staggering. We're talking tens of millions of views across platforms in an incredibly short span of time, overwhelmingly positive reactions from fans and critics alike, and a massive surge of fan edits and reaction videos popping up all over YouTube and TikTok. Industry research is already ranking it among Nike's top Super Bowl-era commercials in terms of raw social impact and emotional resonance with viewers. For an athlete who is still so early in her WNBA career, this level of mainstream exposure is almost completely unprecedented. But what truly sets Caitlin Clark apart is not just her commercial success, but her proven ability to influence the market directly. Analysts now estimate that she single-handedly drives a significant portion of all WNBA ticket sales, jersey sales, and overall television ratings. Every new highlight or ad that features her sparks immediate measurable spikes in search traffic, merchandise sales, and social media engagement. When brands release new Caitlin Clark campaigns, they aren't just chasing hype, they are betting on a player who is uniquely capable of moving the entire market. This one commercial also fits perfectly into a broader marketing ecosystem she's building. Gatorade campaigns featuring her have led to instantly sold-out bottles and towels. Wilson's limited edition basketballs with her personal branding have become instant collector's items. Even her initial CC logo, which some people once doubted, is now highly sought after on hoodies, hats, and posters, cementing her status as both a marketing force and a cultural icon. Projections for a future Caitlin Clark signature shoe with Nike are already reaching into the hundreds of millions of dollars in potential sales. So when fans see her featured so prominently in the Nike women's basketball commercial, it feels like all of those separate deals, all the record-breaking nights are converging into one single powerful statement. Nike isn't just acknowledging her as a talented player, they are officially positioning Caitlin Clark as the future face of all of basketball. The fan reactions completely underscore this message. Under every YouTube upload of the commercial, comments from viewers who admit they've never watched a full WNBA game before are just pouring in. You see messages like, "I clicked for the ad, and now I'm watching Indiana Fever highlights," or "This made me buy my first Caitlin Clark jersey." These comments exemplify how this commercial is expanding her reach far beyond the traditional sports fan base. This is the ultimate win for both the brands and the league, turning casual viewers into engaged, paying supporters. At the same time, the ad sends a clear, unspoken message to other prominent stars like Angel Reese, Sabrina Ionescu, and A'ja Wilson. While all of these players have strong personal brands and large followings, Caitlin Clark is the one who is currently headlining this kind of massive global commercial. Her presence in it redefines what it even means to be the face of women's basketball. It's no longer just about scoring points or dishing out assists. It's about capturing the world's attention, making your face impossible to scroll past in a sea of thumbnails. This commercial effectively bridges two crucial worlds. On one side, you have major global brands like Nike and Wilson investing heavily in her marketing campaigns. And on the other, you have millions of young fans, especially girls, who see someone who looks like them completely dominating and leading the league. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a cultural icon in the making, inspiring a whole new generation of basketball fans. And that's why this Nike ad feels so much bigger than just a commercial. It's a pivotal chapter in a story that fans are deeply and emotionally invested in. The rise of Caitlin Clark as a global superstar is accelerating with every single campaign. Fans are now eagerly waiting to see which brand she'll partner with next. Will it be another giant like Apple or Netflix? Her commercials aren't just about star power anymore. They're about actively shaping the future of women's basketball and inspiring millions. If you've enjoyed her highlights and you want more deep dives into her rising influence, make sure you check out the next video. And if you're still watching right now, drop Clark commercial in the comments. I want to see who the true fans are.